Connor Bedard right now has 3 goals, 12 assists in 21 games played. That's 15 points. Now, there's a real thing called the sophomore slump. Everyone goes through it in every sport. And I've seen some stuff in the media about him struggling, or, I'm not going to discredit this, but people have said that Macklin Celebrini is better than Connor Bedard because of everything that's going on. I don't want to put that argument to bed, because it could happen, and I'm not going to prey on that downfall. But my thing is, I just don't see that Connor Bedard is actually struggling. I think he's also by himself in Chicago, whereas, Macklin's a rookie too. This sophomore slump is so it happened to. I remember it happened to Johnny Gaudreau. It's happened to countless people, and I think it's tough. Also, 15 points in 21 games as a 19-year-old. If that's a slump, then God, my beer league stats are just,
Yeah, I think that's something people tend to overlook.
Yeah.
Because he came out flying, right? Looking at it right now, he had 22 goals last season, 61 points in 68 games, right? As an 18-year-old. Obviously, the expectations were set this year.
Yeah.
That he is capable of that. I think he kind of screwed himself with that, simply because you set those expectations so high. And I think that's why the sophomore slump is seen as a thing.
Yeah.
Is you're a rookie, you're all juiced up, you made your dreams come true, you made it to the NHL, right? And you're a consistent player, you're one of the best players, you're one of the best young players in the world, probably the best young player in the world. Come out flying, then you have these expectations, right? There's more weight on your shoulders now that you've showed up, you've proven you can be the guy on the team. In your rookie season. Now you're expected to be the guy again. And it's not even like he's playing that bad. At least stats wise. I can't say I've caught a Chicago game this year.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he looks lost on the ice or what. But the results are going to come.
Yeah. He had said in an interview that he felt like he was just kind of out there and not really doing anything. And I think if you're playing for the Chicago Blackhawks, you can definitely feel that way a lot of the time. So I think it's unfair to put. He's also 19 years old. Yeah. 19. You know what I was doing at 19? Getting drunk. In college and getting kicked out of dorm. I was not, he's 19 years old, and I also think the development in the NHL, you can rise all you want throughout the juniors and all that stuff, and then coming into your first NHL season, you get adjusted. After that, it's where do you go from here? And I feel like that's kind of the hardest battle. So, if he just keeps working, and he's got a great work ethic from what I've heard, but if he keeps pushing, I don't think this rough stretch is going to last very long. And again, the guy's got 12 assists in 21 games playing on the Blackhawks with no one. He has no one with him supporting cast. Macklin Celebrini, I think, not that the Sharks are a better team, but I think he's got a little bit more skill.
They are a better
around
team.
Him.
They
are statistically. They are
3 places above them.
Yeah, and I think the Sharks look a lot better than they did last year. So,
absolutely.
You threw Macklin on this team last year. I don't think he's cracking really anything, but this team has some pieces, not a lot. I'm not saying their Sharks are a wagon, but they are. But they're not.
They're a wagon.
They're a wagon. What am I saying? They're just not this, I don't know. It's hard to put blame on this kid. He's 19. Lay off on people. Seriously.
Yeah. The other thing I was looking at, we kind of touched on this before we started recording, but he's got 55 shots on net, right? 3 goals.
Yeah.
Last season, he put up 22 goals off 206 shots on net. So his shooting percentage is half of what it was last year. That's a statistical outlier, right? At least what we've seen so far. You're going to see that start coming back to normal, especially with somebody who's that good at shooting the puck.
Yeah.
I don't know what the NHL average shooting percentage is, but I think it's somewhere around 8 or 10%. He's going to climb back up there. I don't think it's an issue. It's his second year in the league and the team is still awful. Don't rush him into superstardom. Let him grow.
Exactly.
And obviously, with guys coming in like Mitchkov and Celebrini who are succeeding, Celebrini isn't doing quite as well as Mitchkov right now, but
Mitchkov's doing
it's hard
great.
not.
I'll give him his
Yeah,
flowers.
it's hard not to compare those guys,
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like
that too. Like, look
Mitchkov
at
will probably go.
how is like we can look this up, but how is any other Calder favorite last year doing? Like, how's Brock Faber doing? That guy's getting paid $8 million a year now.
I'd have to see. Let me take a look.
I don't know how that works.
Minnesota's a wagon this year. I was wrong about them being pretenders, I think. He's got 11 points. He's a +9 in 20 games. So he's doing well. Not quite as well as last season.
No, that's what I
Maybe
mean.
a
Like,
little bit better than last season.
we can't compare Bedard to these rookies. I know Mitchkov was the same draft class as Bedard, but I don't like looking at it like that where you're like, because again, this kid has now no expectations. He could go out there and have the same amount of points as Bedard, and people would still be like, "Oh wow, look at that, 15 points in 21 games." You know.
Funny enough, Mitchkov has 16 points in 19 games. He's not
look at
far
that.
off. Yeah.
He just puts the puck in the back of the net, and I think Bedard has a lot of playmaking capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So him having 12 assists is still pretty good. I mean, I know his shot is great, but his playmaking has always been pretty good as well. Mitchkov was just a pure goal scorer. What I've seen with obviously you need to be a playmaker in this day and age, but I think Mitchkov's definitely more of a solidified shooter, whereas Bedard can kind of play both.
I think he's a better all-around player for sure.
Yeah, I agree. But I think Macklin Celebrini has that two-way game. He's got that 200 feet game. Bedard doesn't have. I'm happy.
I agree.
But,
watching Mitchkov play, or not Mitchkov, what am I talking about? Watching Macklin Celebrini play the other night, I was kind of blown away by how much he plays in the defensive zone.
Yeah.
Like, you see a lot of like talented offensive players and they don't play much in the D zone, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like they're not trying, but like they're not going into the corners. They're not, coming back when a D-man pinches up or whatever happens and corralling the puck and moving it up ice. Like, you don't always see that with these highly skilled guys.
Yeah.
And
that's why I think,
especially now with 18-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think like the center position is like people sometimes just throw great players at center and they're like, all right, go do your thing. Like Bedard would do great on the wing. I think he'd be fine.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's been playing some on the wing.
Has he? Okay.
I think I saw that because he's, first of all, I don't know if you've seen his face-off percentage this year. It took McDavid a while to actually become okay at face-offs, and I think he's still not great, right?
Yeah.
But Bedard this season is winning just under 30% of his face-offs, which is not good enough at the NHL level.
No, not from a first-line center.
You want to get your team the puck off the bat and let them play with the puck. You don't want to be playing in front of the puck. That makes sense.
Yeah. No, totally. So, yeah, I think Bedard, I think he'll figure it out. He's a generational talent. I'm going to stick by that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think give him some time, and I think he'll be back. I think he'll be back by the second half of the season. And even then, like I'm saying, like he's going to be back. He already is doing great. I think he'll just start putting the puck in the back of the net a little bit more.